You're now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day, to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there even when the success you've expected to achieve is yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative, which is the go-getter energy that moves me, you, him, her, everybody else out there to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. We put all this together in one bundle, one package, one mindset, one method, one philosophy, one book, one show. And what you get is work on your game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day. Welcome to the show. Today's topic is how to have impact, how to be a person of impact, how to bring something to the table, the dinner table of life, and has an impact on other people. And the way that the method that I'm going to share with you here today is lifting yourself through lifting other people. Now, the definition of impact is the action of one object coming forcibly into contact with another. I feel like that in listening to this show, that you're a person who wants to make some form of impact on the world and on people for some reason, in some way that is going to benefit you, whether that be for your personal gain, whether it's to feel good, just to feel the positive vibes of having helped another person, or to leave a legacy. And in today's masterclass, you're going to learn exactly how to do that through uplifting others. I mean, you can't have an impact on other people if nothing you do is helping another person in any way. If everything you do is just to help yourself and is not helping anybody else, that's not going to have any impact. I mean, it might do something for you, but it's definitely not sustainable because it's not going to be helping anybody else. So what are you going to get from anything else out in the universe, whether that be a person, place, thing, energy, spirit, if you're not giving value to anybody else? It's impossible. So the only way really to have impact in this world is to uplift other people in some way. It has to be something that you're giving them that they see is of value, and then it's coming back to you in some way. So that's what we're talking about here today. Again, the definition of impact is the action of having definition of one object coming forcibly into contact with another. So today is how do you actually do that? Have that impact, lifting yourself. So you're going to be helping yourself here. It's not just about helping others and just giving charitably to others, but getting nothing for yourself, because there's only so much of that you'll be able to do before you run out of resources to share with other people. So how do you help others and help yourself at the exact same time? That's what we're talking today. Point number one. Today's topic, once again, how to have an impact. Find your ideal mix of giving people what they need mixed with what they want. Anyone listening to this who has ever worked as a coach or a salesperson or any type of consultant, or if you create content online, whether that be the written, audio, video format, in any way that you're working with people and helping them get better, you probably understand that often people say that they want a certain thing, but you, as the expert, you recognize that what they need is not the same thing as what they want. But at the same time, if you only give them what they need, or you try to convince them that what they want is not the right thing, what they actually should be getting is what they need, they're probably not going to buy from you, or they're not going to listen when you try to give them what they need, because they already told you what they want. And if you only give people what they want, while they may be satisfied in the short term that you gave them what they wanted, they're not really going to get any real results, because they are still devoid of the thing they actually need. So your skill as the expert is not only identifying what people actually need, which is usually different from what they want, it's also your ability to give them both. Give them what they want so they feel like they've been listened to, so their desires are satisfied, but at the same time that they're actually getting results. And the result is usually not the thing that they said that they wanted, because if the result was the thing that they wanted, they probably wouldn't be coming to you in the first place. They could just go get it. Right? If that was the thing that they wanted, they came to you because you need to see through their wants to their needs and give them a combination of both. So giving people what they need is like feeding medicine to a dog. I mean, most of them may understand, okay, this is what I need, but they still don't really want it. People understand. Somebody will come to you and say, well, look, I want to lose, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Personal Trainer, I want to lose 35 pounds in the next 90 days. And you understand that that's what they want, but what they actually need in order to do that is not just to do, a certain number of push-ups or do like 10 burpees every workout. They're also going to have to change the way they eat. They're also going to have to give up some of the things they've been eating and drinking. They're going to have to eat and drink some different things. They're going to have to come up with some different routines. You understand that's what they need. They probably don't want to do all that stuff though. So you have to figure out a clever way of giving them not only what they want, which is the workouts, which they think that's all they're going to need to do, but also getting them what they need, which is to change what they're doing in that kitchen. Because you can't, as the saying goes, you cannot out-train a bad diet. So you as a trainer, you got to figure that out. That's the expertise that they're actually paying you for. So it's like feeding medicine to a dog. If you just give a dog straight up medicine, the dog might take it in his mouth, notice that it's medicine, then it's going to spit it back out because it doesn't want to eat that. But if you mix it in with a little bit of the food that the dog likes, then you'd be able to trick the dog into eating the medicine when it thinks that it's just getting the food that it wants. So you're giving it its needs and its wants at the same time. You have to bake the needs, and you have to bake the person's needs into their wants. So it's kind of like you're giving them a results casserole. And in that casserole, you mix in the needs, but it's embedded within the wants. So when the person sees the casserole, they think you're giving them exactly what they asked for, the things that they want, the things that they could probably have gotten on their own without coming to you. But within that casserole, they don't even notice that you baked in all the things that they need. And without that, they would not have any results. But they don't even understand that. But that's why you're the expert, and that's why they pay you the big bucks. Only a very small portion of the population, ladies and gentlemen, goes looking for the things that they actually need. Let me say that again. Only a very small portion of the population ever goes looking for the things that they actually need. People go looking for the things that they want. The things that we want are the people want the results. I want to make more money in my business. I want to have an 8-pack abdominal muscles. I want to lose these 35 pounds before my wedding. I want to any other desire that you may have right now. Think of some of your current desires. The things that you want, you go looking around for those things, but the things that you need in order to achieve those wants are completely different set of things that you may not be so keen on getting involved in. Things that you may not really want to do. Okay, you want to make more money in your business. All right, here's what you need to do. You need to tear down all the stuff that you've been doing, and we need to build this whole thing back up from zero. Now, you probably don't want to do that, but that's actually what you would need to do to achieve the want that you said you wanted. You want to lose 35 pounds. Okay, yes, we can work out for an hour 4 times a week, but what you actually need is you need to change the way that you're eating, because your eating that's causing the problem. It's not your exercise program. So these are the things that you as the expert have to be able to, again, you got to figure out how do you get people both at the same time, because they're not going to listen if you're not giving them their wants. If you just give them their needs, they would get results, but they're not going to listen, and they're not going to be open to it. And therefore it's not going to have the same result. Only a very small population of people is so disciplined that they go looking around for the things that they actually need. Everybody else, we go looking for what we want. But if all we ever got in life was the things that we wanted, all right, none of us would ever achieve much of anything. All right, when you were a child, you probably wanted dessert, but your parents told you, well, you need to eat dinner first, then you can have dessert. And if they didn't have the authority to force you to eat the dinner first and all you got was a dessert, you'd probably be a very unhealthy individual, probably to this day. Who knows if you would even made it as far as you've made it if you were able to just get your wants. Just get the dessert, just give me some soda, give me some candy, give me some ice cream, let me stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning, even though I got to be up at 6 a.m. for school. You probably wouldn't have become a very successful person. You wouldn't be the contributing member of society now as an adult that you wouldn't have become the contributing member of society that you are now had you only been indulged with your wants back then. Somebody had to discipline you to get your needs, to take in your needs, even though you weren't so excited about the needs. And it's the same thing that we need done with us today, even still. Maybe again, like I said, 2% is looking for the needs. If all we ever got was the wants, we wouldn't have many accomplishments. The secret to making an impact then, for you as the expert at what you do, is to give people what they want while mixing in enough of that medicine, the needs, to keep them healthy and growing and happy at the same time. So the people will feel happy. You as the person who's delivering the impact, people feel happy and satisfied when they feel like their wants are being indulged. But people actually get results when their needs are given to them. And there's only a tiny, tiny portion of people whose needs and wants are the exact same thing. Everybody else, they're completely different. And your job is to figure that out. It's not necessarily even to explain this all to them as I am to you right now. This is the trainer training the trainer. Okay, that's what I'm doing right now with you. You as the person who's going to deliver the impact to your clients and your customers and your audience. You just need to understand this. You don't even need to tell them about this. They don't want to hear it anyway. They just want to know that you gave them what they told them that they wanted, what they told you that they wanted. Jay-Z said, Jay-Z, the musician, Beyonce's husband, he said when he first started rapping, his friend saw that he was good, was listening to Jay-Z rap, heard that he was good, but he told Jay-Z, listen, man, your lyrics are a little bit too complex, even though you're a good rapper. So the things that you're talking about, Jay-Z's friend went on to explain to Jay-Z, it would go over people's heads. People will kind of be confused by the things that you're talking about, even though you're good with the wordplay. So what you need to do, his friend went on to explain to Jay-Z, is you have to spoon feed things to them. Or as we commonly say in all worlds, in music especially, you hear this often, the phrase is dumb it down. You have to make your music, you have to make your words and your wordplay, you have to make it dumber. You got to make it stupider so that people can understand it. Why? Because the average person is a little bit probably not as smart as you. And I'm talking, this is what Jay-Z's friend said to Jay-Z, but this is also what I'm saying to you. The average person is probably not as smart as you are. That's why you're the expert. Or they came to you because you know things that they don't know. You understand things that they don't understand. You could explain things that they don't even want to understand, even if you wanted to explain it to them. So you have to dumb down your knowledge to make it simple enough that they understand it, that you can spoon feed it to them so that they understand it, but at the same time, they're getting what they need. Why? So why dumb things down? Because people are dumb. Okay. If you didn't understand that. And even smart people don't always like to think. You know, a smart person who just seems to have turned their brain off, put their brain on autopilot sometimes when you're in the middle of a conversation with them. Okay, well, some people think the same thing about you at times. Smart people don't always like thinking. Thinking is a job. Thinking is work. Thinking takes effort. And people who are not smart at all, they don't even have the intelligence. Even if they wanted to, they wouldn't understand what you were saying. So you got to be able to dumb down your knowledge, your expertise, your brilliance to make it simple enough that people get it, what you're giving to them, but also complex enough that they don't even realize that you're giving them their needs at the same time that they feel like all they're getting is their wants. All right, that is the magic of your skill as an expert. If you have not quite figured out how to do that yet, then you still have work to do. But that's why you're listening to a show called Work on Your Game. Point number 2. Today's topic is how to have impact, lifting yourself up by lifting others up. So I just told you how you get your message into people, that by you're kind of tricking them the same way you would trick a dog into taking their medicine. But here's the second thing you got to do. You got to say to people what nobody else will say to them. People need to hear something from you that they have never heard before, that they will never hear again, and that nobody else would even say to them, would even think of saying to them, or would have the courage of saying to them, even if they did think about it. You got to jolt people out of their sleepwalk. The reason why someone is coming to you, coming to your podcast, coming to your videos, reading your emails, following you on your social media platform, coming to you for a consultation, asking you about your products and services. The reason that they're coming to you is because they are in a sleepwalk. They're not getting the results that they want, even though they're probably taking some form of action, doing some form of work. They're not getting the results they want. They need somebody to jolt them out of the sleepwalk that they're in. Because if left to their own devices, they're going to just keep doing pretty much the same things they've always been doing, and they're going to keep getting the exact same results. They came to you because they're hoping that you're a person who can jolt them out of the stupor that they've been in of doing the same things over and over and over again. And the simplest way to do this, the most important way to do this, is you got to wake them up by telling them something, saying something to them that they've never heard before, saying something to them that's actually going to get through. It's not going to go in one ear and out the other. If you really think about it, if you listen to podcasts, or you watch videos, or you read blogs, or you scroll through social media feeds, how many messages do you get bombarded with every single day? If you really thought about it, going through your whole Twitter timeline, or Facebook status updates, or Instagram posts, or everything that's said on a podcast, everything you hear on a video, everything you read in your email inbox, all the text messages you get every day, all the phone conversations you have every day, every other platform that you're using, how many actual messages, individual messages are you getting from people every single day? We're numbering into the thousands. You don't remember all of those. How many of them do you actually remember? Probably damn near none of them. Maybe 1 or 2 over the course of an entire day. So think about that. And everyone else is going through the same thing. Everyone with a smartphone is going through that exact same thing. You're being inundated with thousands of messages from people every single day. How many different messages am I giving you over the course of one episode here? A whole lot of them. If you follow me on social media, if I tweet 5 times a day, that's 5 different messages. If I post something, my caption is a message. Then the next person, they got a message. Then you go through somebody's story. That each one of those story posts is another message. Do you understand how many messages you're getting hit with every day? How many messages that you hear or were you hit with yesterday that you can recite and tell me what the gist of the message was from yesterday? From yesterday's everything you saw on your phone. Tell me everything you can remember. You probably wouldn't get past 5. So most of the messages that we get hit with go in one ear and out the other. So how do you get people to actually hear your message, first of all, to remember it, and then actually do something with it? Do you understand? That's 2 extra steps they got to take. So the first thing, they got to actually notice that you've said something, not just glance past it, not just breeze through it. You got to say something that they didn't hear before. You got to represent something that they haven't seen before. In episode number 1368, we talked about how not to be garbage. To have impact on people, the first thing you got to do is capture their attention. If any of you have read anything about advertising, especially video advertising on YouTube or on Facebook, one of the things that the experts always say is that you have about 3 seconds to capture a person's attention before they scroll right past and go on to the next message that they're going to get hit in the head with. 3 seconds. You got to wake people up. You got to get their attention. Then you got to keep it once you have it. Whatever it is that you're doing, if your aim is to have an impact on people, let me tell you a secret. You're probably not the first person to try to have an impact on that person. And you're not going to be the last person to try to have an impact on that person. So the question is, why would anybody remember what you have said if there are 237 other people saying the same thing? 237 other people also trying to get through to this individual. Why would anybody remember what you're talking about? You can't have an impact on a person when you're being forgotten. So here's what you need to do. You need to figure out what your unique angle is. What is it about you, about your presentation, about the way you talk, about your brand, about your whatever slogan it is, whatever your method is, your process, whatever you're bringing to the table that is going to wake people up, that's going to stop somebody in their tracks as they're breezing through their timeline of life, that is, metaphorically speaking. Stop and actually listen to what you're saying. Actually read your message. Actually watch the video and actually remember anything you said, and then actually take action on it. How are you going to do that? You need something proprietary that nobody else can say. You got to be able to say something that other people aren't saying to the people that need to hear it, and it has to capture their attention, and then it has to keep their attention, and then it has to move them to action, and then probably a follow-up action. Because if it was just one action was going to change everything, well, a lot of things would be different. They're going to have to follow up, and they're going to have to be consistent with it. And that's your job to get them into that frame of mind. All of that is your job because you're the expert. You're the person who's making the impact. If everybody could do this for themselves, again, a whole lot of things would be different. The whole industry of expertise wouldn't exist if everyone could just do this on their own, just from listening to one message or reading one article. That's why there are a selected few who are chosen to help other people get to where they need to get to. Because most people can't do it by themselves. Most people cannot do it for themselves, even if they wanted to. They're just not capable, but you are. And that's your job to figure out how to get through to those people. And everybody isn't gotten through to the exact same way. So all of this is part of the skill that you had to develop. All of this is part of your game to develop. You cannot have impact on people if they're forgetting you as soon as they come across you. So what are you going to do to be remembered? That's an open-ended question from me to you, but it's not an open-ended question from you to you. You need to answer the question. Point number 3. Today's topic is how to have impact. Lifting yourself up through lifting up other people. Understand that impact causes change. If you want to know if you're having impact on other people, all you need to look for is what has changed in other people. Somebody listening to your stuff, liking your stuff, subscribing to it, following it, leaving a comment, telling you how great you are, shaking your hand, taking a selfie with you if they see you in the mall. All right, that's not impact. All right, that's just somebody liking you. That's just somebody being a fan. And that's cool, but that's not impact. Impact means people are changing because of what you've done, because of what you brought to them. The quote is, and this quote has been attributed to many people, so I'm just going to say the quote, and we're just going to say it's an anonymous quote, or you can give me credit for the quote. The saying is, if your actions create a legacy that inspires others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, then you are an excellent leader. And that's been said in a couple different ways, and again, been attributed to a bunch of different people. It doesn't even matter who said it. I said it. Okay, here it is again. If your actions create a legacy that inspires other people to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, then you are an excellent leader. Notice these action words, these verbs in this quote: dream, learn, do, and become. If you want to be a leader, you got to move people to do these things. They got to learn, do, and become things. There must be change that is obvious in people through you. To have impact, your effect must do more than get likes and comments and followers. You have to have the effect of changing people's actions. Not just have them as fans, not just have them as subscribers or likers or first comment every time you post something. That's cool, but that's not impact. All right, that's just fandom. What are those people doing now, the people that you're trying to impact, as a result of your influence that they were not doing before your influence? What are they doing differently now as opposed to what they were doing before? That is what you need. If you're going to write me when you write a review on this show, on Apple Podcasts or wherever you write the review, or you send me a testimonial video or any of the things that you do, that's what I want you to answer. That's the question I want you to answer. All right. Don't just tell me how great the show is and how it's impactful and how anybody can learn from it. All those things are great. What I want to know is, what are you doing differently now that you weren't doing before as a result of what you got from me? All right, that's the impact that I want to know about. Okay, so the next person to write a review, that's what I want to hear from you. Where's the impact? Where has change occurred within you because of what you got from me? Ask yourself this question. You as the expert, what do I want people to do differently after interacting with me? That's the question that you need to answer. And let me give you a hint. That's what you need to lead with in your sales message. If you want to tell somebody about your book, or you're a speaker, you got a speech that you want to give, or you got a product or a course that you want to sell, don't tell people about how great it is or what the name of it is or all of that. All you need to tell people is, what are they going to be doing differently after going through your material? What's going to change? What's the impact that you're making? How will their habits be different? How is their thought process going to be different? How are their results going to change? Those are the things that people are actually looking for. See, those are the needs that people are after. See, if I'm a personal trainer, I'm not going to tell you about how many push-ups we're going to do every day or how I'm going to give you a meal plan. I'm going to tell you about your wants, the things that you want, which is to lose 35 pounds before your wedding. That's what I'm going to tell you about, because that's actually what you want. Now, the process of us getting there, I'll tell you about that, once you signed up and we get started, because you're already bought in. I'm going to get you bought into the impact that I'm going to have on you. And then I'm going to tell you, this is how we're going to get there. And you're putting your trust in me. Okay, so shut the hell up and listen to what I say and just do what I tell you to do, because I'm the expert and you came to me for help. All right, so let me help you. Help me help you by doing what I tell you to do. All right, as an expert, you got to be able to have that conversation. The true impact is when change occurs and that change is tangible, and they can say, this is the change that has occurred. If the people who are engaging with your stuff aren't able to say, this is the change that has occurred, then you are failing to make an impact. And you, as the expert, need to step your game up. So let me recap today's topic, which is how to have impact, which is lifting yourself up. And if, as you're doing all this stuff, to put a bow on all this, as you're doing all this stuff to lift other people up and causing change in other people, this is going to lift you up, because people are going to talk good about you. People are going to refer you. People are going to pay you. People are going to sign up for you. People are going to buy from you. And all this is going to lift you up because you're lifting other people up. This is the way that it works. Anyone who has lifted themselves up to a high level in anything, I guarantee you're going to find a whole bunch of people on whom they have had impact. That's just the way it works. There is no other way to lift yourself up in life. How to have impact. Again, recapping, lifting yourself up by lifting others. The definition of impact: the action of one object coming forcibly into contact with another. If you want to make some form of impact on the world, which I think you do, in this class, you're going to learn exactly how it's done. Number one, find your ideal mix of giving people what they need mixed in with what they want. Usually it's a dichotomy between what people want and what they actually need, because if all people had to do was go after what they wanted to get their results, then the whole expert industry wouldn't exist. Personal trainers, coaches, consultants, speakers, authors, none of these would exist, because people could just go after what they want, they would get it. Or people going after what they want is usually the reason why they end up finding an expert, because going after what they want has not produced the results, because they're not doing what they need in order to get it. You have to learn how to bake people's needs into the surface surface appearance of giving them what they want. It's just like, again, feeding medicine to a dog. If you've never done that before, look it up. Only a very small portion of the population goes looking for their needs, because needs usually require a lot of work, require a lot of discipline, require a lot of time and effort. And as human beings, we are wired to avoid these things. We all, however, go looking after what we want. If all we ever got was what we wanted, none of us would ever achieve much of anything. We'd be 7-year-old kids staying up till 3 in the morning eating ice cream, cake, and candy for dinner instead of actually eating meals and vegetables and going to sleep and doing our homework if all we got was what we wanted. Therefore, it's the authority of someone who can impose discipline on you that calls you to get the things that you needed. And just because you grew up and you're not 7 years old anymore doesn't mean you don't have those same needs. Those same needs still exist. As Jay-Z said when he first started rapping, his friend said to him, "You're a good rapper, but you're too complex. You're going over people's heads. You're giving them what they need, but you're not giving them what they want. They're not going to hear you. You got to dumb it down." The reason why you have to dumb down your message when you're giving people their needs is because people are dumb. All right, people don't think. People don't want to put the effort into thinking. Therefore, you have to give them what they want and then bake it in with what they need. You listen to somebody like Jay-Z when his most recent album, his 444 album, he's talking a lot of very smart stuff. It was a very smart album. On that album, he's talking about a will for his kids. He's talking about building a legacy. He's talking about credit and owning homes and all these business type of things. A very smart album. There wasn't a radio single on that album, but Jay-Z nowadays, he's in a position where he can make an album like that and say those kind of things that he was probably thinking about 20 years ago, but he couldn't say it back then because he was trying to sell records. When Jay-Z was trying to sell records, he was putting out completely different songs, like Big Pimpin'. He was putting out songs where he was saying things. Can I get a fuck you to these bitches from all of my niggas who don't love hoes that get no dough? He had to say things like that because that's what the average person understands. That's what the average consumer would listen to and would dance to and would pay money for. But if he had been talking all this smart shit in 1998, he wouldn't have sold any records and Jay-Z wouldn't be Jay-Z, and I wouldn't be using him as an example. So do the means justify the ends? You tell me. Point number 2. Say to people what nobody else will say to them. Jolt people out of their sleepwalk. On episode 1368, I told you how not to be garbage. To have impact on people, you must first capture their attention. Whatever it is that you do, your aim is to have impact on people. That means you're probably not the first one to do it, and you won't be the last one trying to have an impact on another person. We are all inundated with thousands of messages every single day. The majority of them go in one ear and out the other. Like I said, tell me one of the best messages you saw on your social media feed or your notifications or your text messages 3 days ago. You can't remember not a single one. So how are you going to remember anything that somebody's saying to you today? And how is anyone going to remember anything that you're saying to them today? You got to say something to them that they have never heard before that's going to stop them in their tracks and wake them up out of their sleepwalk. Everybody is sleepwalking. Your job is to wake up the right people with the right message. And point number 3, remember the impact causes change. If your actions create a legacy that inspires others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, then you are a leader. To have impact, your effect must do more than get likes and comments and shares and follows. You have to have the effect of changing people's actions, not just having them as fans. A fan is cool, but if you change people's actions, that's when you start to get real tangible results for yourself and for others. Just having somebody subscribe to you doesn't really mean anything nowadays. I mean, what does it actually mean? How many people are you subscribed to? All right, does it really mean anything? No. Are they really having an impact on you? Maybe. But if you really want to have an impact on a person, you have to create change in that individual. That is your job as an expert to figure out how to do that. What are they doing now as a result of your influence that they were not doing before? When you leave a review of this show, tell me, what are you doing differently now that you weren't doing before? How are your habits different? This is where true impact is measured. Work on your game. Dre all day.